Go on. Say it. Well. The O'Malley fight was going to be boring, huh? O'Malley was just going to dance around and throw leg kicks from range, was he, Doug? You really called that one, didn't you, Dougie? That O'Malley video is going to age like absolute milk. Oh, jeez. We were all going to be saying that if only Marlon Vera just pushed a little bit more, he could have won that fight. Marlon Vera had absolutely no chance of winning that fight. I just like, how did Marlon Vera even survive? Okay, enough fluffing around. Let's talk about UFC 299, the main event, the co-main event. Let's touch on Jack Della Maddalena. Let's talk about MVP. There's a lot to bloody get through here. First of all, okay, the main event. Sean O'Malley. All right, look, I have spoken a lot about Sean O'Malley, said a lot of not very nice things about Sean O'Malley, but I've always maintained that he is a phenomenal striker, and my God, is he a phenomenal striker. Now, there were a couple of things here. I said going into this one that we're going to see a new era of Sean O'Malley. Now that he's the champion, he's going to try and play it safe, and that he should try and play it safe to extend his career. We've seen other people do this, Israel Adesanya for one, and I thought we were going to get the exact same thing out of Sean O'Malley. Now, the first round, it looked like I was 100% going to be right about this. The first round was a little bit lackluster. It was very leg kicky from range, wasn't it? But then as the fight sort of picked up and as we got more and more into it, Sean O'Malley, went for it, bro. Went for it. Decided he wanted the finish. And there was specifically a moment at the start of the 5th round where Sean O'Malley's coach says to him, "You're winning this. We've got 4 rounds in the bank. He's going to come charging at you. Just pop shots and dance around the outside." And I was like, okay, well, I mean, number one, Sean O'Malley has tried to get the finish thus far in the fight, and good on him. And number two, that is not a ridiculous game plan to have going into the 5th round. We all remember the downfall of Kamaru Usman, someone who literally had it in the bank against Leon Edwards in their second fight. The commentary team was talking about Leon Edwards is just happy that he's going to be finishing this fight. He's just happy to still be in there. And then Leon comes through and just wins, just decides to win. We've seen this before. Glover Teixeira and Yuri Prohaska, that fight going down to the wire. It feels like Glover has actually got this one in the bank, and then Yuri just wins. We've had these moments where Brian Ortega just decides he's going to win. So I'm not surprised that the cornering staff and the coaching of Sean O'Malley says just dance around the outside. But here's the thing. Sean O'Malley just goes, no, I want a knockout. And he bloody goes for it in the 5th round, which personally I find phenomenal. I really do. I respect that so much. I talk a lot on this channel about one of the biggest things that I want to see as an MMA fan, as a fan of violence, of controlled violence. I want to see the fight in the fighter. And Sean O'Malley has got, at this point, everything to risk, right? At the start of the 5th round, he has literally got everything to risk. It's his first title defense. He's winning easily. Apparently he has a broken foot going into the 5th round. All he has to do is jab, leg kick, and dance around on the outside. That's all he has to do. Marlon Vera on the other side of the cage is beaten up. He is a beaten dog. He's going to be slow. He's going to be exhausted. He's going to be over-swinging things coming at you. And Sean O'Malley says, no, dude, I am here to play. And goes and runs in and tries to look for a finish. And the body shot that Marlon Vera hit him with, Sean was saying after the fight, it was a damn good shot. I had to compose myself. I mean, we are talking about a game of inches here. We're MMA fans. We know what we're looking at. A game of inches here. One of those shots to the body lands on the liver, and it can all be over. And Sean went in there knowing that, playing with that, put his cards on the table, risked it. And I just got to, if I'm going to pile on the hate onto a fighter, if I'm going to jump on their back and give it to them when they do embarrassing shit, like coming out to a press conference dressed in a fluoro ghillie suit, what the hell was that? If we're going to jump on them for that kind of stuff, then we need to applaud them when they do something, frankly, cool as shit, to be honest. To come out in the 5th round and to go for a finish. Golf clap, Sean O'Malley. Golf clap, Sean O'Malley. Let's get to the post-fight call-out, right? He calls out Ilia Topuria. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of opinions on this, and I can understand why. And with the audience that I've cultivated here, and I appreciate all of you guys watching these videos, you might be assuming that I'm going to say this is BS. It should be Merab Dvalishvili. And there's a part of me that 100% thinks that. It really does. You know, meritocracy, it should be Merab Dvalishvili. But here's the thing. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Who cares, man? Fuck it. You know what? Look, I was thinking about this all night last night. If you want meritocracy, the UFC is not the place for you anymore. It's not the place. I want meritocracy, and I still want to watch the UFC, but it's like asking a road to become a river. It's just not what it is in its core. The UFC is not a meritocracy, but we have a fight organization that is. So if you really are a diehard and really, really want a meritocracy, which I completely understand, watch PFL. It's there. It's right there. They had a card this week. Go watch PFL. There's a meritocracy. There's a league. It's all set up right there. The problem is, a meritocracy, it can be kind of fucking boring, can't it? Like, it can be boring as shit. You know, like, do we want to see Merab spam takedowns against Sean O'Malley? A little bit, I do. And I want to see who would win that exchange. I do find it an interesting fight. So I do want to see that fight, you know. Do we want to see Bilal Muhammad just rush takedowns at Leon Edwards? I think Leon Edwards' takedown defense is kind of interesting. You know, I think he has JDM-esque takedown defense and scrambling. I do kind of want to see that fight. Should Sean Strickland be the next one to take on Dricus du Plessis because it was such a close split decision? Yeah, he should be. But instead, it's going to be Israel Adesanya. If we're going to fucking do that fight, do it in Africa. Let's go full circus mode. If we're going to be here in the UFC, and the UFC is going to be a circus, and they're going to have the kind of champion, that rolls up to the press conference, literally dressed as a clown, a child's clown, and we're going to have grown men in the audience wearing clown wigs cheering for that guy, instead of a guy who has come up from the favelas and is fighting for his daughter that needs surgery. People are not cheering for that guy. They're literally in clown costumes cheering the clown. If we're going to be a clown show, then I don't want a 80%, 50, 60% clown show. I want a 100% clown show. Go for it. So if we're going to have a clown show, let's have a clown show, and let's put on a clown show fight in Spain against Ilia Topuria. Completely undeserved. Don't give Sean O'Malley any respect because he's just moving up. If he loses, he risks nothing. Like, he gets to go back down and have the fight with Merab afterwards. That means I think we're going to have Merab versus Sandhagen for an interim title fight. Put it on the same card. Put it on the same card as the co-main event of Sean O'Malley versus Ilia Topuria. You know, exactly what they did for Volkanovski when he moved up to Islam Makhachev. And let's be aware that we're watching a circus, and that when we want to watch something that has a little bit of meritocracy and something that is fair, that's what PFL is there for. But unfortunately, when you set up a league that is just meritocracy, you know, watch the PFL. Go sit down and watch the PFL. It's very boring. It's very, very boring. And that's sort of the fine line that we have to navigate as MMA fans. Do we want something fun to watch? One championship. Do we want a circus? The UFC. Do we want meritocracy? PFL. Boring. I don't know. It's hard. Lucky we have so many things to pick from. And to be honest, Sean O'Malley versus Ilia Topuria can be a fun fight. You know, it's going to be a fun exchange. We're going to see the power of Ilia Topuria. Sean O'Malley can get clipped. How is he going to take that? Sean O'Malley's chin is going to be truly tested at a very high and strong level. How creative and quick can Sean O'Malley be around the crisp boxing of Ilia Topuria? How are their ground game going to match up if it does go to that? Ilia Topuria has got a fantastic background in BJJ. Sean O'Malley, we haven't gotten a chance to see it properly evolve. It's still a fun matchup to watch. So I'm still kind of here for it, and I'm just going to admit that this is a sideshow the entire way to the end. Why not? It sucks for Merab. It really does. He 100% earned that shot. He should be there, but the UFC didn't even pan to him. You know, the UFC are so good at telling you what they're thinking next, right? If they are thinking that there is a certain fight that is going to happen next, they will literally bring Israel Adesanya into the middle of the ring to face off with Dricus du Plessis. They will pan to the next person. They will show you Sean O'Malley. When Aljamain Sterling is the champion, they will show you Sean O'Malley or bring Sean O'Malley into the cage Tonight, when Sean O'Malley won and they were interviewing there, and Rogan was there, he was interviewing O'Malley, they did not pan to Merab once. They didn't speak about Merab once as they were wrapping up the show. They spoke about Ilia Topuria. Rogan spoke about going to Spain. The UFC is telling you what they are thinking next. The matchmakers, the press asked Dana White in his post-fight press conference, what do you think about the fight with Ilia Topuria? And Dana did not go, that's ridiculous, that's a gimmick fight. Dana said, it's not Tuesday yet. It's going to happen. You know, when Dana says that's ridiculous, I'm not making that fight. They asked him in that same press conference, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3 for the Mexico card at the Sphere. And Dana flat out said, I'm not interested in making that fight. There are ways that you can read what the UFC are thinking behind the scenes if you've been watching it for a while, and they want to have that Sean O'Malley, Ilia Topuria super fight go down. It gets Sean O'Malley on a pay-per-view again. I think we've had this huge discussion, all of us in the MMA space, about whether or not Sean O'Malley is a star. That was a star-making performance. It really was. It was a real star-making performance because it was fun. And in the UFC, as long as you can put together fun highlight reels, people are going to rock up and watch. And to now see that people like me, I was completely wrong. Sean O'Malley is not going to play this defensive game as a champion. Sean O'Malley is going to go in there and he's going to strike, and we're going to have a good time. And if he can actually have some activity and fight more than once a year, he is going to grow that fan base. You know, he's going to step into the stardom that is potentially there for him. So I think it's just like the circus tents are up, the lights are on, the show is here. You can either go sit in the parking lot and be bored by the PFL, or you can get on board and start watching this show happen. And that seems to be where we're at with the Sean O'Malley show. Co-main event, right? Co-main event, Dustin Poirier. How can you hate Dustin Poirier? I mean, there are so many people out there that are anti-Dustin. I've been a Dustin fan for the longest time, and I just don't see it, man. Like, the biggest argument against Dustin Poirier seems to be that he has a chip on his shoulder. And it's like, have you been watching closely? Like, Dustin Poirier is the kind of fighter that gets in there and always gets into these crazy, high-level, heated exchanges, these like angry, visceral fights where the exchanges are messy and there's this like intense boxing exchanges going on. You're surprised that that kind of dude has a chip on his shoulder. Like, obviously this kid is coming up with a chip on his shoulder. Like, what do we expect from this? But he seemed to have been very self-aware this week of where he was in the division, what he was working for. Does he have a future going forward? What is he looking for? He seemed to be very, very self-aware, even during the fight when people are screaming like, Dustin, stop throwing guillotines. Dustin's like, no, I'm going to keep going after these guillotines. I will get one eventually. He knows that what he is doing is counterproductive to him winning, but he's just like, I'm trying anyway. I'm going to do it. You do you, I'll do me. And then he turns around and just decides to win. Was the win based on his skill or the lack of skill from Benoit Saint-Denis? I think it's the fact that it is just a fight. You get into these heated exchanges. There are messy moments. It's a game of inches. Benoit has won that game a couple of times in the past. He's been very close to losing that game once or twice in the past. And on this one, it was the one where he lost. It just is what it is. Benoit Saint-Denis can, of course, rebuild himself. It's lightweight, you know, he's 28 years old. He can certainly rebuild himself and make another title run. There are people at lightweight that are still making a title run at 33, 31, 32. He's got plenty of time to keep pushing forward. What happens next with Benoit Saint-Denis is completely up to him, whether or not he wants to reach back down and just keep pushing through these hard fights. And that's why I respect Dusty and Gaethje so much, because they are still there rolling around that top 5. They take on young up-and-comers, and there is a reason that the lightweight division is the hardest division in the UFC, because you have to fight for your spot to be in that top 5 so deeply, so much. It takes so much to be in those wars, and whoever is reigning on top of the lightweight division absolutely deserves our respect as fight fans. It was phenomenal to watch. And Dusty, you keep chasing those guillotines, mate. You're going to get one day. Believe, brother. MVP. Let's go over MVP quickly and Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, cut him immediately. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of Kevin Holland with this swaggery attitude and just not trying. He does not try. I mean, he's literally just there for events like what we just saw. We have a new big name coming into the UFC. We need him to get a win. We need him to fight someone in a style that is going to be fun for us, the fans, to watch. Who do we put him against? Kevin Holland is that guy. I feel like, Same thing with Chimaev, right? Chimaev, we need to fight this weekend. Who are we going to put him in? Chuck him in against Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is that guy. It's just so weird to watch. Like, I don't understand what he is doing in a competitive environment like the UFC. It's almost like he is just there to be a boxing bag for someone else to show off against. And then he goes ahead and gets upset that is what he is. Like, dude, if you don't want to be that guy, fucking try, Kevin. Try and win a fight, man. Just cut him. I don't understand what we're giving him paychecks for. I guess it's because Dana loves him. Like, Dana and him are mates. So Dana's like, I'll keep paying you to lose. Fuck it. I don't care. Go nuts, Kevin Holland. You give me someone to put someone like MVP up against. Fine. But MVP's performance, I wasn't that impressed by it, man. I honestly believe that he was a can crusher coming into the UFC that can style on these cans. We gave him a relative can to style on. He did that. I think if someone has really like basic boxing fundamentals, basic MMA striking fundamentals, and pushes forward and attacks, they can smoke MVP. I'm really yet to be impressed by him because I want to see a high level exchange of MMA, and I don't see MVP having that. I see MVP being able to dance on the outside and do these wild, crazy techniques because the person opposite him is not giving him a very calculated approach. I mean, Sean Brady will finish MVP. He will. Shavkat will finish MVP. Ian Gary will be an interesting fight. That'll be an interesting fight because we'll actually have someone who is trying to win with good fundamentals matched up against MVP. It's going to be very interesting to see whether or not the UFC are going to be nice to him and how much they paid for him, how much they invested into him by seeing what kind of matchups he gets next. I do think we're going to get MVP versus Wonder Boy next, and the UFC are going to be banking on a fun fight that MVP can go ahead and win, and then we'll see where the division lies after that. But I think because they did invest so much money in him, he's going to get favorable matchups, and I mean, that's fair enough. He was a big ticket item for them. I just haven't seen anything yet that gets me wet for MVP, to be honest. I haven't seen anything yet, so I'm not that hyped. Next fight that I wanted to chat about real quick, Petr Yan. Petr Yan bit down and decided I am not getting fired this weekend. I need to win this one. And it was just gritty and I loved it. I love Petr Yan. I love his boxing style and I love it when he's in fights like that where he just decides he is going to push forward. It was really nice. I really enjoyed that win. That's all I wanted to touch on because I do want to wrap this one up. And of course, JDM. Let's talk about JDM and Burns really quickly. Let's just say this. JDM scrambling is phenomenal. Like, JDM is there to get taken down. But again, I want to go back to the fight in the fighter. JDM, there are certain fighters that when they get taken down, they are just on their back and they do not know what to do. They don't try and get back up. And I hate watching that. It is so frustrating. But what I loved about JDM is, yes, he is there to get taken down, but he will not stay down. He knows that if he is on the bottom, he is going to be losing that fight, even though it seems like people do not read the scoring criteria. It's damage-based scoring first. Gilbert Burns getting him down and just holding him down is not doing any damage unless Gilbert Burns is actually trying to go for a submission. There's nothing being scored here. It's just control time. That is literally the last scoring criteria. So as long as when they're on the feet, when the round starts, if someone does some damage, the other guy can take them down and hold them for 3 minutes. They didn't score anything that round. It's just waste. Anyway, enough, Doug. Make a whole other video about scoring if you want. JDM, right? He is there to get taken down, but when he does get taken down, he is not staying down. And the scrambling is so good to watch. It's such high-level scrambling. I think that can take him pretty far. You know, like, there are great wrestlers there in the division, but if he has that level of scrambling and can keep working on his takedown defense, can keep working on that moment when they get pushed up against the cage and is this takedown going to get completed or not? If he can just tighten that section of the fight up there, we are in for something really, really special here for the Aussies to get behind. And yeah, of course, I'm going to be riding the JDM train all the way to the championship. How can I not? He's a fun bloke from Australia that has sick striking and phenomenal scrambles. I'm here for it, mate. How can I fucking not be? But that's it. That's my takeaway from UFC 299. It was damn good fun. I'm so happy with how that card went. It was really fun from start to finish. There were a couple of snoozes in the center, but I mean, you're not going to have 14 bangers. You know, there's going to be a couple of snoozes in the center. There's a lot more to break down. I can't wait to get into the rest of them this week. What was your favorite moment of UFC 299? And how upset are you if Sean O'Malley does fight Ilia Topuria next? Like, are you that deeply wanting a meritocracy that you are just going to boycott that fight? Are you not going to watch that fight? Let me know down there if you did enjoy this video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button down there, because every single one does mean so much to small creators like myself. And of course, I'll see you all in the next one.